Hey, welcome to this video on how to do stuff. Before we talk about this video, first of all, take a look at this.
You must be Bill.
Yeah, I'm Bill.
Okay, so that's kind of weird, I'll grant it. In this video, I'm going to talk about the camera work that's necessary in doing a video like that. So I went out and made a video, and that's a clip from it. The whole video is kind of like this cheesy parody of I don't know what, but anyway, I'll show you the whole video at the end of the how to do it video. In this video though, we're going to look at all the mistakes I made and hopefully some things I learned from doing that video. A lot of things I got wrong, a couple things I got right, and so we're just going to jump into that. Well, here we are in Mission Control, and I've got my editing screens up. Started following Peter McKinnon a couple of weeks ago, and I came across one of his videos called How to Clone Yourself. And in that video, he showed how to use Premiere Pro to use masking to put yourself two scenes together, and he had a lot of great tips, and so I thought I'd give it a try.
Whoa.
The first video I tried to do is called I just went out and shot some video, and there's a short clip in here from, I called it Meet the Tahoe. So that worked out okay. I had made some mistakes, and so the next thing I did,
Do this every single time. It will help you.
I did a math video
and prevent mistakes.
One last thing, and something happened when I was doing the math video is I put this ink pen down on the desk as the guy on the left, and then later on in the video, guy on the right picked up the ink or touched the ink pen, put his hand on it, and I was like, hey. So that got me thinking about how I could transfer an object from one person to the other, which I thought would be kind of a cool thing to do. And so I made up the idea for a video, and I went out and shot him, called the Dealer. It's at the end of this. It's about 3 minutes long. It's at the end of this how-to video, and it's like really cheesy. I went for cheesy on purpose, and I think I really hit the mark on that. So I did some like really intense close-ups with very stilted dialogue. Anyway, I'm pretty sure Hollywood's going to be calling and asking me to come read for some parts after seeing that thing. So in shooting that video, I made a lot of mistakes. I made a few things. I got a few things right, but I got a lot of things wrong. But one of the things that I didn't listen to Peter about was backgrounds that move. And so I had to put my mask line through the image. In different parts, in different scenes, parts of Sweater Guy would get into places that should have been masked out. And Jacket Guy came in and he moved the drink cup, and that caused some problems. That I wanted to move the drink cup, but I didn't want him to put it there. He put it right where the mask line had to be. One of the problems that I encountered with this was light shirt, dark jacket, and the camera wanted to adjust exposure for that. And so if you look in this video, you can see there's a gradient. There's a line where the grass changes color. Now I ran the mask line through the tree, and the moving leaves, that tree went out at the top, so it obscured a lot of the problems with the mask line. But where it's going across the grass here, ultimately there was a lot of frames I had to go in and individually change the exposure in order to get the grass lines to match. And in this picture here, you can also see where the mask line doesn't quite get rid of the first cup. So there was a few frames where the original cup is still visible, because I had to be so close in order to get the backpack in. So in doing the Dealer, I learned some things that I thought were really worth sharing when you're setting up your cameras and when you're doing the video. The first thing is you got to put some room in your shot where you need the mask line to be. You need to put some room in the shot where the mask line needs to be, so that you don't have those problems. So plan the shot. Put some room in there so you can feather that mask line out. The second thing, really avoid moving backgrounds. When I did the Tahoe thing, it worked out okay, and the backgrounds moving weren't that big of a deal. But in this video, it was really challenging, and because my mask line was going through the grass and the tree, it wasn't as obvious as it could have been. But you really need to plan that out in advance. The biggest problem I had, I shot it several times. I kept getting the dialogue wrong. And so if you're going to do this, if you're going to try to do this thing where you have dialogue in the scene, you're going to have that on lock and plan how you're going to do that and keep it in sync. And you may have to do some close-ups, which I threw the close-ups in order for me to get the sync of the dialogue back together. The close-ups are kind of scary, but they served a pretty good purpose. A fourth thing that I learned was that it's really necessary to keep up with your props and your costumes. Planning your props out in advance. Second is costumes. I kept forgetting to change. I shot Jacket Guy a couple of times wearing the sweater before I finally got that right. So stay organized and keep up with your props. Number 5, stay conscious of the lighting and the shadows. I've been doing still photography literally for 40 years. And that's something that's all just inherently in my mind. But in this case, I wanted to manipulate the shadows so that it fell away from the subject, so that the shadows weren't crossing the mask line. And doing that it made it a lot easier. If his shadow were falling across the table, then it would have been impossible to shoot this. So I actually ended up having to reorient the table so that it was facing directly into the sun. I was able to get all those shadows to kind of just roll off the back of the table. So be really conscious of your lighting and your shadows. And number 6, something I learned, number 6, I really, really need to avoid being the close-ups. So 6 things I learned. Now, the question is, having done this project, am I going to be able to do better the next time? So I thought I would shoot a real quick pass where I would make it an effort to pass an object from one character to the other, and real short and real quick. So that's what we're going to see next. So I'm going to go through how I set it up. So here we go. So did I learn anything or not? That's a good question. What we're going to do is try to find out if I did learn anything. So I'm going to set up a little scene where I pass the car keys from one of me to the other, doing this composite thing. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to just kind of walk through the whole thing. I've got 2 cameras set up, and they're both shooting the same scene. I think that's going to allow me to do move the mask without actually interrupting the great acting that's about to follow. So the way this is going to work, I'm going to walk through how I do it, how I film it, and then I'm going to actually edit it together and show you the final results. So here's how it's going to go. So I'm going to start with a clip of myself kind of in this position. I'm going to say, hey, hard day. I'm going to put my keys down on the window ledge. Okay. Then I'm going to stand here and I'm going to watch the other me who is going to interact with this. He's going to take the keys, and then that'll be the end of the clip. So it's going to be really short. The other me is going to be standing over here, and this me is going to, for a few seconds, stare into space as if I'm watching the other me that's going to be composited in. And then this me is going to go, well, hey, yeah, I got to take the keys. I'm going to go to the store. So the acting is not the point. The idea of shooting this and did I learn from my mistakes? So I kind of picked up, I'm using this backlit window blinds, kind of hopefully to obscure some of the shadow problems. And hopefully if I don't violate this center line where the keys are going to be, this should all come together pretty good. So let's see how it works out. So now I'm going to go over here and I'm going to show you this whole clip of me walking through it. So that's kind of weird. Here we go. Oh brother, what a hard day. I really had a hard day. Okay, now I'm going to do the other guy. So he's going to listen first. Yeah, well, my day is just beginning. I got to go. All right, so there's the scene. I don't know if it's going to work. I'm going to edit it. I'm going to try to put it together. Using the two cameras, I'm pretty sure I can switch and move the mask without there being any interruption to the cinematic effect. So let's see what it looks like. I'll put this in the timeline. I'll put this in Adobe Premiere. Talk a little bit more about it back at Mission Control. All right, I've already loaded the clips into Premiere Pro. So I have the two soundtracks, and so I have two cameras and two scenes. So I took the top two cameras from down here at the end, took the soundtrack down a row, slid it all over, and I put my mask lines in already. As the first guy talks, I'm going to use one camera, and when the other guy talks, I'm going to use the other camera. So it's a real simple thing. The other thing I did is I lined up the dialogue. So you can see first guy talks, and then they talk over each other. This guy, he just had so much to say, and then they talk over each other. So I was able to have the silence of right-hand guy line up with the first words of left-hand guy, and then silence of left-hand guy lines up with words of right-hand guy. So that's how the clip, so it's shoot it and be quiet, and then the next guy is be quiet and then say the words. So this is how it's going to edit out. So the mask line is here during this clip, and then when I get to this clip, I've moved the mask line over so that it includes the keys, so that when he grabs the keys, they'll go with him and they'll disappear out of left-hand guy's thing. So I think it worked out fine. I'm going to adjust the colors before I render all this. I think it worked out pretty fine. So that's it. Oh brother, what a hard day. Whew. Yeah, well, my day's just beginning. I gotta go. So the 5 important factors. Leave some room in the shot for the mask line to avoid the moving backgrounds. If you can have a background, and in my case I used a backlit window so that the shadows would be even less obvious because of the light coming through the window. So be aware of the background and at all costs avoid backgrounds that move. Number 3, get that dialogue down on lock. If you're going to do dialogue between the two characters, get it on lock and know exactly what you're going to say and how you're going to say it. Number 4, stay organized, keep up with your props, keep up with your costumes, which I didn't change costumes today, but I kept up with the props, right? The car keys, big deal. But keep organized. Number 5, be conscious of light and shadows. If the shadow from one character is falling into the space of the other character, that's just not going to work. Anyway, have some fun with it, and now enjoy the dealer. Oh, wait. If you like this video, maybe you want to subscribe, maybe you'll find some other things. Now, the dealer. Oh wait, remember I said it was really, 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 really cheesy, and it is. Enjoy.
You must be Bill.
Yeah, I'm Bill.
Is it all there?
Yeah, I have it.
It's all here.
All right then.
Let's have a look.
It's all there. I knew it would be. What do you think? Is this 50 millimeter? I guess I'll take it.
Okay. Well, how do you want to do this? Will you take PayPal?
Yeah, sure.
Are you sure?
I said I would take PayPal. All right. Well, all right there. It's done.
Well, thanks a lot.
No. Thank you.